Good morning. Happy Bank Holiday Monday to you. I am sounding a little bit husky this morning. I've been away for the weekend. I'll tell you about it in just a second. Who's first past the post this morning? It is Donna Powell. Good morning, Donna Powell. Yo, yiggity, yo, welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, Danny Wallace. You can see I'm kind of like glowy. There's a gap in my curtains. And it is absolutely scorcho outside. So what's the weather doing where you are in the world in Preston here? It is gloriously sunshine outside. Thank goodness. It was a little bit hairy there over the weekend for a bit. So yeah, I was away for the weekend. I had some things to do. It was part social, part not social, mostly social. I went on Friday. I went down to London to go and hang out with the incredible Emma Sale from Killing Kittens, and also the Sister Network, and also the glorious, devilishly handsome, devilishly devilish Dan Meredith. So we were hanging out, we were chatting, we were playing with the kids, and we were out for dinner. It was really cool. And then the next day, I went to see my amazing friend Sam Barefoot. If any of you haven't connected with Sam Barefoot before, do. She is an absolute wizard with all things social media. So I was hanging out with Sam and also the glorious Nikki James, superstar branding expert. So yeah, we were doing a little bit of networking, a little bit of social time. But what it allowed me to do, you guys, was come all the way out of everything. So as well, you know, I've been writing this book, and the end is in sight. So fingers crossed, all going well, we will have, I say we, me, will have the book finished today, or definitely within the next 24 hours. But I came all the way out of it, and I think I needed it. And it's a real testament, I think, that when you are in the middle of your work, it's very hard to see outside of it. So when you're in it, and it feels very claustrophobic, and it feels very sort of insular, and it feels very blinkered, and actually sometimes it's necessary to get out of it and go and spend time out of it and out of everything, out of context, like completely out of context. And I've got a little bit scratchy this morning, and it's because I was in the car for about 5.5 hours yesterday, and I sang the entire time. And I did not wake up my voice. I did not warm up my voice. I just sang at the top of my voice properly. It was like Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill singing. So whilst I was living my best life, I was also doing myself some damage. But yes, I am definitely, Amanda, I am refreshed and ready to rock and roll. Quite literally, I came back and Wallace had bought me an AC/DC t-shirt. It's sunny-ish in Nottingham, so we'll go for sunny. We'll go for sunny. We'll be positive, and Nottingham over in the middle. No, more in that kind of middle, isn't it, Nottingham? There we go. So good morning, Sandy. What's the weather doing over in Spain? I'm sure it's glorious. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to preempt the fact that you're going to tell us it's fabulous, which is why, of course, you moved over there. How are we doing, everybody? It is Monday. Welcome to another week here at IATQB. Welcome to another week of the show, Rise Up Show. Bank holidays have always been a bit of a funny one for me, in that because I've been a singer for so long, I forget that it's bank holiday. People do things like take time off on bank holidays, which I'm not doing today. So I thought, well, if I'm going to show up, I might as well show up for you guys as well. It's sunny and fresh in hilly North Wales. Do you know what? Sunny and fresh sounds absolutely glorious. Sounds like the kind of day that we need to have, a sunny, fresh day. It is blue sky in Mella, just a little bit down the road from me in Mella, beautiful Mella. Sam Clark, who we had on the show last week. Go and check out that. We had a fabulous time together, shooting the breeze, and talking about changing businesses later on in life. We have got a fabulous guest on today, talking about some different kind of things. Lovely day, but cloudy in Warrington, so a little bit further south from where I am. It's a little bit cloudy. I think we've got too much sunshine going on to be able to rep you. Wait a sec, let me do this. Let's get North Wales sorted out. We'll move Preston up a little bit. Where are you? Yeah, it's a bit shit there, look. We've just moved Nottingham down to the Watford gap. We do need smaller bees. So we're going to kick this week off with a little bit of accountability, you guys. So this week, I want to know, and I want you to tell me in the comments whether you're in the Hive, whether you're watching on my personal profile, whether you are watching on the I Am the Queen Bee page, whether you're watching on YouTube. I want you to think about this week. So this week's the first week in September. On Wednesday, we tick over into the last kind of quarter, the last quarter of the year. We've got September, October, November, December. Now, the first 3 quarters of this year have been a little bit strange, let's be honest, but often the last quarter in the business year is all about closing out the year strong and looking forward to 2021, which I know we're all doing, but there's 4 months of potential awesome stuff that you guys have in your hands. Like, we're at the start, and at the start of months is always a great time to sort of recalibrate and relook at stuff. So I want to know from you guys, what are your plans for the final quarter of the year? So normally on a Monday, I will ask you, what your plans for the week, what's going to make this week a win. I want to know. What I want to know from you guys is, what are your plans for the coming quarter? I am interested. So the coming quarter for me, as well, is going to be Karen Dawkins is going to be with us this morning. I think she's trying to find a good place for a decent connection. She's taking us outside wherever she is. So we're going to be like, she's going to be like our roving reporter when we get to her in just a sec. So I want to know what your plans are for the next quarter. So in IATQB, I'm finishing the book off today, tomorrow. That book will be submitted and done and ready for formatting. The next thing that we are going to be doing is we're going to be launching Be Heard So You Want to Be a Speaker. So as you all know, I am a speaker coach, although I've got a bit of a scratchy voice today. I'm a speaker coach. I help particularly women in business, although I work with lots of men and lots of different types of people as well. But I help them get in touch with their business or mission message so that they can reach more people and earn more money. And so twice a year, what I do is I open up the doors to my speaking course. So those doors are going to be open at the end of this month, which is brilliant. So we'll be doing a free challenge that you guys can all get amongst. It's going to be all systems go at the end of the month. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to open the doors again to Be Heard So You Want to Be a Speaker, and also to Be Inspired, which is the Speaker Mastermind. So it's 2 things. The next thing that we're going to do, because the last quarter is going to be really busy for us, then we've got Be Inspired, the event, which we postponed. So we postponed it. It was meant to be next week in Manchester. So what we did is we postponed it until the 15th of October. Now, there's still tickets available for that. If anybody wants to come along, to come and play with us, we're going to have a fabulous day in Manchester with our current cohort, which is fabulous. They're going to be speaking for you. We've got some special guests. It's going to be an incredible day. So it's the 15th of October. And then the last week in October, first week in November is going to be the book launch, and also the launch of the Fly Anyway Foundation, the charitable leg of IATQB. It's been in the plan all along, so I'm super, super excited. But you can see that's all systems go. And then in December, you guys, I'm going to take a holiday. I'm going to take a couple of weeks out, spend with my family, and do absolutely shite all, because it's been a busy, busy year, and I want to be able to enjoy Christmas for the first time in 10 years. Can you imagine? First time in 10 years, I'm going to be spending it just with my family. I'm not going to be doing any singing gigs. I'm not going to be doing anything. It's going to take a whole couple of weeks off just to spend it with my family and just celebrate everything that we've achieved this year, because it's been crazy and we will have survived it. So it's all exciting stuff, but I want to know in the comments, what are you excited about? What's coming up for you this coming quarter? Let's get accountable. Let's get accountable to each other. And you can carry on the conversation in the IATQB Hive. It's spelt like this. All right. So that's enough of that. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in my inbox. Let me know in my emails. What is it that you've got planned? I want to be able to support you, shout out about you, all of that sort of incredible fun stuff. And also, it's just nice to know. It's nice for us to know as a community what we're all getting up to so we can all support each other. There might be something that you do that somebody else will need, and it's all a part of the whole ethic, the whole values of IATQB is to show up, wise up, and rise up, and linking arms together. So, without further ado, speaking of awesome people, we have the glorious and the fabulous Karen Dawkins joining us this morning. Karen, our roving reporter, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. This is going to be like your most interesting interview situation that we've done. We're out having a walk with Karen this morning, everyone, while we get the good internet. We may do. Can you hear us?
I'm going to try outside the hotel again, but it wasn't too good just now.
Oh, right. Okay. So, I'm going to keep my eye in the background. I'm going to pop Karen backstage just for a second while we get the internet sorted. And I want to see what your plans are. I'm going to share that with you guys. So, Amanda Lawson from ALLS, from the incredible health and safety company ALLS. My plans are to get focused, be clear in the direction of the business and what we want to achieve. Yeah, now is a good time to get that focus. Spend this next week or so really thinking, what do you want to achieve out of the next quarter and the quarter after that? And indeed, your strategy on into next year. That's what we're going to be doing here. All very exciting stuff. I'm in. Can't wait to be here to start. Can't wait to have you in the cohort, my angel. I'm so looking forward to seeing everyone at Be Inspired. Dan Ivory, I cannot wait to see you. Super, super exciting. Handed it accounts to our accountant this week. Please hold me accountable on this one. Fully booked at the studio. 2 brand shoots a month for the next 3 months. Getting our show reels sorted with Shelby. Excited. Loads of brilliant things. Lots of assets that you're getting in place there, Emma. Amazing. And what do we mean by assets? Assets are the things within your business that allow you to show yourself with credibility, that show your reputation. So this could be things like PR, this could be things like your website, this could be things like testimonials and all of that sort of stuff. So what assets are you working on to help you share your business with credibility? That's a really good one to get focused on. So we've been thinking about the assets that we've got, and obviously one of the assets that we've got coming up is the book. I don't know what this bit, look at this bit of hair. I don't know what this bit of hair is doing. Oh, it got longer. Oh, it's all right. That'll go out of the way now then. Let's have a little look. Karen Dawkins, are you there? Oh, you're in the car. Are we any better? I love it. We're just going to be in all different locations with you this morning, just to see. Yeah. It's like Andy Peters. Can you hear us okay?
I figured this might be the only... Oh, do I give up?
Oh, we're not having a good time, are we? Karen, I think what we might do is let's see. Right. Can you hear me? I think we're going to struggle. I think what we might do, Karen, I don't know if you can hear me. But I think what we may do is we may call it on today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call it on today, and we'll bring Karen in the next couple of weeks when she's got a stronger internet connection so that we can have a proper chat. So Diane, what are you saying? Where are we here? I've got a lot to do, getting back into events in the lead up to Christmas, 2 books on the go. Amazing. More TV work and anything else you've got planned for me. So Diane is on our Rockstar Level Up branding mastermind as well. So as a mastermind, we're going to be writing a book together. As a mastermind, we've got VIP events to go to together. So Diane will be joining us at the book launch, which is fabulous. She's got more TV work. She quite the international celebrity now. She's rocking up on CBS, rocking up on. You can, in fact, tell us, Diane, where can we find you on the telly, because it's quite exciting. I think we might try one last time. Karen, if you're backstage, can you give me a wave and let me know if we're good to go, or if you're still trying to. Hang on a second. We've tried about 5 different locations. Yeah, it's all right. I'm going to send Karen a little message, because the internet is terrible wherever it is that Karen is. Hang on a sec. We'll get her back on for a special. I'm just telling her in the chat in the back. Right. Okay. So, do you know what? It is the joy of modern technology. That sometimes the technology doesn't work like you want it to when you want it to. That does not mean to say that we cannot have Karen back on the show in the not too distant future. So we will get Karen on the show in the not too distant future, and we will talk, because her story is incredible, absolutely incredible, and I want to make sure that we get an opportunity to share it. Karen, can you hear me backstage? Give me a wave. I can see you. Can you hear me backstage? Right. Should we give it a try? Let's give it a try. I'm going to bring her in. Let's try one more time. Karen Dawkins, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Hooray!
Hello. Hello. I don't know.
You've been our roving reporter this morning so far. I did just send you a message saying that we probably, if it's really difficult, let's have this one last try. If it's really difficult, then we will get you back on.
I'm sorry. It must be so frustrating for you and your listeners and watchers and stuff.
It's fine.
I've
It's
tried
all right.
so hard.
This is the kind of show where anything goes and anything could go wrong, and it is all good. We show up gloriously in our imperfections.
Yay.
So let's have a little bash. Let's see if we can do this. We can do this. We've got this, Karen. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, Karen,
go for it.
Tell us about what it is that you do. What is it that is your business? Because it's so interesting.
Oh, it's a bit different, isn't it?
It is very
so
different.
Myself and my husband. So I joined my husband's company back in 2016, 2017. He's a Mazda MX-5 specialist. So he works on those little two-seater sports cars, little roadsters.
Yeah.
And he's been a specialist for several years when I joined the company. And before that, he'd done a lot of motorsports, engine building, race car building, racing in general, anything to do with being on a racetrack, making things go faster, etc., etc. So when I joined the business, I joined having just left the corporate world, made a conscious decision to get away from the lovely commute from London daily commute, etc.
It's long, isn't it?
So yeah. So
it's all right saying that you work in the city.
It's
all well and good saying you work
Canary
in the
Wharf.
city, but getting to and from, my gosh, so proper London.
Yeah, I started off working there when I was living like Godstone, Sevenoaks way, and then we've moved a few times together. So at the time it was Tunbridge before we sort of finally sold our house and moved down to the coast in 2016 to live a simpler life and me to join him in the business. So we still specialise in the Mazda MX-5s, but we've niched down now at the beginning of lockdown. You'd think that specialising in one make of car would be specialist, but actually you're trying to deal with like 3 decades of different changes and models and makes and stuff like that. So just before lockdown, we decided actually to focus more on just the motorsport side of it. So track days and race weekends and just general motorsport activities. And then the engine rebuild. So now we are just absolutely inundated with engine rebuild work for MX-5s, which is awesome because it means we're busy. It's a lot of engines have issues, and normally most places would just take the engine out and put a new one in. Like that's what a Mazda main dealer would do. But we actually take out the existing engine, dismantle it, machine it if we need to, service it, fix it, rebuild it, and then put it back in the car. So it maintains the history of the car, which a lot of places won't ever do. So being specialist, we're also the engine specialist as well for MX-5. So we've niched on a niche.
That's super niche.
You think you're excluding a lot of your market, but actually what we found is it's opened up the whole of that part of the market to us, and that everybody that needs an engine rebuild for an MX-5 comes to us.
They come to you. They don't go anywhere else.
We've got a great reputation as well. Yeah, exactly. But the reputation is the thing, and that's what's taken years to build up.
So what sorts of things did you do to build that reputation? Because reputation is built over over a long time. But we were actually just saying, whilst we were kind of waiting for the right kind of internet connection, we were talking about assets and what sort of assets that you need in your business. And we're heading into the last quarter now, and assets are things that you can gather within your business that allow you to share the credibility and the reputation of your business. So what sort of things, other than just doing a bloody good job, what sorts of things did you guys do to help build that reputation? So you weren't shit. You was dead good at what you did for a start.
Massive amounts of integrity to the point where it has cost us time, stress, like proper stress, and money to do the right thing. If things haven't gone right, and sometimes it can just be like you've had the wrong part delivered and you've installed it being told it was the right part. Like sometimes it's a one digit reference number that they've sent differently, and you wouldn't necessarily know. Or the part you've been delivered actually been faulty, and you fit it because you don't know it's faulty, and you're relying on the manufacturer
in working order.
And then if you fit that part and something goes wrong with that part, it still comes back on you. You never get any recourse from the people you bought the parts from, but you still got to fix it at your own cost and maintain that relationship with the customer and just do the right thing. You can't just walk away and go, not my problem, mate. And there are places that do that.
Parts place.
Yeah, and there are places that do that. Even when we've sold cars, which we do a little bit of here and there, we've sold cars and there's like one of the spotlights had a problem like 6 months later. We still sorted it out for free, not because we were selling a brand new car, we were selling a used car, which we didn't know had the problem and didn't have the problem when we checked for it, but we still fixed it once we were told about it because it felt like the right thing to do. So, we will always do the right thing over and above what other people would probably do, because our reputation, it takes, don't you know, I mean, it takes years and years to build a good reputation, and it takes someone about 30 seconds to destroy it. So we've always protected our reputation like fiercely. And we've got some great reviews all over Google, our website, Facebook. So
I think one of the key things there is customer experience, isn't it? Making sure that your customer is right at the center of what it is that you're delivering, and that they're coming to you knowing that they're going to get looked after, instead of, so many people or so many businesses, I mean, particularly in cars, will do the job and then, like you say, we'll wash the hands of it. Whereas actually you've got that customer, you want that customer to come back to you. And all right, there are times when you will have to say no, there are times when the line will have to be drawn. But actually, if the customer's experience is right in the middle of what it is that you do, then it is easier to grow that reputation than it is to just rely on your handiwork.
Yeah. And also because we are a service for a very niche market, Mazda MX-5 owners are actually quite they're like a fraternity. There's owners clubs and groups and forums and chats and meetups, and they do actually get together and do little pub runs where they meet up at a pub for lunch, and they all go for a little drive with the roofs down, because they're all convertible cars. So obviously this time of year is perfect. So they're, because they're all like a little community, they will talk to each other. And if you've got a good reputation, they'll know about it. And if you've got a bad reputation, they'll know about it. So we know, because we've done a good job, people talk about us, and we get so many referrals from other people that go, oh, I've heard about you, you're great. But now we're having to turn people away because we've niched and we don't do the servicing and the maintenance and the upgrades and my car's making a funny noise, which is what we used to get a lot of, because people used to try and fix it themselves and then send it to us. And
they do, when they get little cars like that they absolutely love on, especially when it is like it's a niche car. You will get the tinkerers, the people that want to, look after their baby themselves, right?
Yeah, it's natural, especially with the younger guys, because they want to learn it as well as, they're just starting to learn to drive, and they also want to learn how to fix it. So they want to do all that stuff, and then they'll quite often, phone you up for free advice. So that always, that's always a popular move, isn't it? But,
Here, can I have all your expertise for nothing, please? Yeah, no problem.
It happens all the time, and my husband's so flipping nice that he'll actually give it to him, and I'll be like, for God's sake, you just spent half an hour giving someone free advice. What about the job you're supposed to be finishing off?
Do the job. There's forums for that, love.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
what made you, so you said that you changed at the start of lockdown. Was that already in the offing, or was there something about lockdown that made you like that had made you
No, we just
decide to change?
we'd happened to
Go
got to
on.
the end of our tether at the beginning of lockdown.
Okay.
We've been planning it and talking about it for literally a couple of years now. We kept saying
Right.
we've got to just focus on engines, motorsport, and car sales because that's what makes us the money. That's what's the least stressful. That's what we
Yeah.
enjoy, and and that would solve our logistics issue. We're trying to get cars in and out on one ramp in a small workshop with
Yeah.
semi-limited outdoor space.
Yeah.
um we're only a small business, we can't do everything, and when you're trying to juggle people and you're trying to pick people up from the station and have people
Yeah.
waiting for their cars and you've got time slots, it's always difficult, especially if someone doesn't, like if you're
Yeah.
waiting for a part to be delivered or you don't know a certain problem's wrong with that car, and then you go, well actually you phone the customer and you say I need this part,
Something else is going to be
and you have to
longer.
order it, wait for it to come, then you've got to assume it's the right part, then you fit it, and then that all takes longer. So then if you've got
Yeah.
someone else already booked in, it's that it was just turning into a nightmare.
It is
So
logistically. I used to work.
it
I
was
used to work
just
for a Jaguar Land Rover, and used to look after their centralised servicing department. So you would call the contact centre that I would manage and get your car booked in for its services and what have you. And when you do have discerning customers, and they are discerning customers when they're not just somebody who's gone, oh well, I'll have a, I don't know, a Vauxhall Vectra, and I'm just going to. They choose that
yeah,
brand, and they choose that particular type of car for a reason, because it is niche, because it is, there's a lot of love for it. It's like having a Mini Cooper. It's like having one of those sorts of cars. So they
they
are
are, yeah.
kind of more discerning, and when I mean discerning, I really mean demanding. Um, when it comes to looking after, you're laughing because you know what I mean.
They love
When
their
it comes to
cars,
looking
they
after their
do love their
babies,
MX-5s. Yeah. Well, these are the extra fun cars. A lot of people that own these cars have got these as a second car, and it's quite
yeah,
often let me say a guy that's they've done the family thing, and now this is their treat to themselves. It's a
yeah,
two-seater. It's nothing to do with kids, and it's their little baby. And so this is
whizzing
this is
around
very
the
often a real
countryside on sunny
treasured.
days.
It's yeah, they just love it. It's a way to be out with their mates. It's their own little thing to tinker with, and nothing to do with the kids, nothing to do with the family. It's all theirs. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a real affection and a love for that. And these cars
Hmm.
are just they're just great fun. So you do have that following and the love for them. So yeah, we wanted to do everything, but we couldn't. And I think
Yeah,
and lockdown just happened to coincide. But we'd already the beginning. It was the beginning of March. It was the 1st of March. We're just like, we can't do this anymore. We're literally driving ourselves nuts trying to be
right.
all things to all MX5 people. And so we just said, look, just do it. Just you tell me what to say to people when they phone. You tell
Yeah,
me what message to put on the answer machine. You tell me
yeah,
what to
yeah,
say, and we'll just send them to other people. So now we do. We send probably at least 60 or 70%, if not more, of the inquiries we get to other, MX5
yeah.
people, Mazda specialists.
But that's
So
because you absolutely know that where you have niched to now, there is enough demand to support you, and you enjoy it. So the track days,
yeah,
the race days, the race weekends, that's kind of moving into hospitality almost, right?
a little bit, yeah. And I love all that stuff. So I was going to say I love all that shit, but yeah, I can say that on this
You
show,
can
can't I?
swear, you're on my
Love all that
show, my
shit.
girl. You can
Love
drop
all
a
that
fuck
shit.
or bugger, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Love it, love it. So I think that's where we've also thought about going, expanding for maybe next year or even the year after, depending on how long it takes us to sort it out. Is the idea of the bespoke luxury track days? So
Right.
really like niching a bit more, but using a different type of car, using like a proper kit car. And when I say kit car, I don't mean one that looks a bit crap. I mean like one that is like costs about 30 grand to build and it's worth about
Yeah.
90 grand once it's done.
Once
And
it's
it's a
built.
sleek looking, sexy kind of car.
Yeah.
The sort of thing that grooms would potentially want to hire for their wedding day to have a good,
Got you.
good rev around first before they get to the
Yeah,
venue.
yeah.
So we're thinking of expanding into that and going more niche, small group, sort of bespoke kind of, the hospitality side of
Nice.
it. So like you're saying, like the
Yeah.
organising stuff, but not
Yeah.
catering, just hospitality with, bubbles and afternoon tea and,
Yeah, like a picnic basket in the boot
beers in a
and
bucket, yeah, and comfy
yeah,
chairs, and a
yeah.
bit of a sort of a classic sort of gastro look to
Love
the
it.
sort of catering, rather than it being a bit clinical like you see in the Formula
Yeah.
One areas,
Yeah,
or
where you
just the
kind of
camp
couple of
the camp.
laps around and then that's it, you're done.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
yeah, we're
you don't get that kind of we as wider communities now, we want more experiences. The especially after lockdown, the emphasis is much now less on things and more on experiences, because we've had a lot of
yeah,
experiences taken away from us. So now, especially looking on the outside, like we're looking forward to having lockdown lifted, or certainly having the restrictions loosened. People are wanting those experiences, aren't they? And what better way to do it? Diana Ivy wants to be on one of those track days. You have to connect with Karen and have one of those track days.
they're great fun. They're great fun. The smile on their faces. Like we did a race weekend last weekend at Silverstone, and the customer that we took, that was using a car. It's the first time he'd ever been in a single make race, and it's very different when you're in a car and the other cars on the track are different, and it's not even Stevens. That's one kind of experience where you're racing, but you're going to get overtaken by the Ferraris on the straight, and you're going to
Yeah,
handle
yeah.
better on the corners than. But this, when you're all in the same 1.6 Mark 1 MX-5, it's a very fun, very closely fought
Competitive,
race,
like
and
this cheeky, yeah.
some real like hairy moments around the corners when people are like literally inches from each other, and it's just a much better experience for if you haven't done it before. And he was buzzing. You could hear him laughing in the in-car footage. You could hear him laughing over the
Oh, I
sound of the
love it.
engine.
She's having the time of his
He was
life.
squealing like a kid. It was
It's like when it's like in
loved
Top
it.
Gear when the boys get their hands on a really fun car, and it might not
Yeah,
be a car that everyone would
yeah,
expect, and they just get dead
yeah,
excited when
yeah,
it zips off. Or
yeah.
it's
Oh,
so
yeah,
funny.
it's good, great
It's so
fun.
funny.
Yeah, there's the
So
other connection actually. Sorry,
say
carry
that
on.
again.
No, you said about the Top Gear guys. They moved on to that the Grand Tour on a different
Yeah,
channel.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And their new version of a Stig is a lady called Abby Eaton, who Chris, my husband, has been friends with since she was like knee
Oh, I
high to a
love it.
grasshopper.
Oh,
And
I love it.
Chris, my husband, used to race against her dad. Um, yeah, so she used to race against Paul Eaton. So yeah, so there's a connection there as well. And if we did do these luxury track days, we're hoping, because she works as an instructor,
Yeah,
racing instructor, we're thinking of maybe pulling her in and using her services as an instructor on some of
I
these
love
like
it.
bespoke luxury track days, if she's up for it. And just because
Oh.
Chris, my husband, doesn't like doing it, he doesn't like teaching people how to drive. It scares him.
And it's nice to have that kind of collaboration. That's a high-end collaboration, isn't it? For the petrol heads out there who do watch,
Mm.
my husband watches it, who do watch well, I don't even know what it's called anymore. So I used to love Top Gear, and then when they moved over, I got to see my ass. I went happy.
I haven't really watched it since then, to be honest. But I've seen a few clips with
My
her on it
husband
because she
does.
shared
My
them.
husband
But
does. He's really into it. I bet. So when we get guests on the show, and normally we ask, oh, what are the things that you could talk about? What are the things that you'd like to talk about? And what was lovely and what I really appreciate is that you gave me a list, loads of different things that we could talk about. Now, your business is super, super interesting. Like the whole, like, I want everybody to know about this, because I know that loads of you guys watching out there will want to get involved with the track days and want to get involved with those sorts of experiences. But there are a number of other things that you kind of brought to the table in terms of the things that you wanted to speak about. One was going from earning six figures to credit card debt. So talk to me a little bit about that bit of your story.
oh, this might not be a popular one if the husband
Oh, it's
hears
all
me.
right. All
Um,
right, quietly.
because I'm cool with it. But it's like everything, isn't it? You don't want to talk about the shit stuff
Yeah, we
because it makes
don't.
you vulnerable. And I'm just very much like, well, everyone goes through shit stuff. So what's the problem? Like,
It
no,
is
it's not all
important to
roses, is it?
acknowledge.
It's not all
Yeah.
exactly. So I was, when I was working in London in corporate, I was earning six figures, doing really well. I'd gone from one contract to another contract. So sometimes it was 6 months, sometimes it was 12 months, 3 years. Sometimes you end up going back to a company. Like I worked for JP Morgan for about a year and a half, and then I left,
What
went
did
to
you do in the
HSBC, came back.
corporate? What did you do in the corporate
Oh,
sector?
I was working as a business analyst.
Right,
So I
right.
was dealing with, mainly it was implementation of regulatory change, which is a
Yeah.
couple of long words, working in teams, sort of what are you doing, what should you be doing, and what's the gap, how do we fix it, and then working
Out of
with
it.
people to get the right processes and procedures and controls and checks, etc., in place,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
system side of it as well. And then at JP Morgan, I was working on their global customer onboarding system. So
Right.
I was the data entitlements expert. So it's to do with user entitlements, data entitlements, what they were allowed to see when they logged on, because of all this.
Right.
You've got financial crime at one end of the
GDPR.
spectrum, and you've got data privacy at the other end of the spectrum, and they actually work against each other, which is quite
Yeah.
frustrating because
I
because
bet.
yeah, data privacy states you should not be able to see this data because you're not allowed to because you're in Asia. Um, Whereas financial crime is, let's share everything so everyone knows what everyone's doing, and that no one's buying, you know,
No one's
bombs
being
and guns
dodged.
and financing and, all this money laundering stuff. So you've got two ends of the scale, and it was a
Right.
very interesting but frustrating
I
type of
bet.
situation. So
Yeah.
I did all sorts in that team as well. So I was working with the technical teams to implement the changes in the system and build the system. It was an ad hoc, bespoke, very complex system.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
bet. I bet.
that was a real bit of a head fuck. That job
It
was
was long.
really
Yeah.
complicated. I was
It's
teaching people how to do it for like 3 months before I left, going, you have got to understand this. I have got to leave.
I am not
I
gonna
can't
be
work
here.
here
You
forever.
can't ring me when I'm
Exactly.
gone. I'll be on
Exactly. And
holiday
someone
somewhere.
still
I'll be in a
did.
Mazda somewhere.
They still did, but yeah, too nice. So yeah, that was interesting. Um, and I loved having, the money independence, and I'd always supported myself. I'd never had any sort of handouts, and always worked really hard for what I got. So
Right.
going from that situation in 2016, when we then sold our house in Tunbridge and we moved down to the south coast,
Mm,
so we got a bigger house for less money, a lot less money, to
mm.
take the pressure off the finances, because
Just
obviously
to
if you're not working in
breathe.
London, you're not earning the money, you've got to pay the
Yeah.
bills. So
Mm.
I joined his business, and we sort of, I just kind of jumped in and tried to get on with it, but at the same time realizing that we needed to tweak various things. And we made a bit of a decision, because we were doing the engine building, that we needed to buy some equipment to speed up the process, because he was taking about 3 days to like clean engine items,
Yeah.
which is a long time for a specialist engineer to be wasting doing cleaning.
Yeah. It
So
limits
we
the amount of
decided,
engines that you can sort as well. There was a
yeah,
glass ceiling there with time.
yeah. So what we actually ended up doing was buying this new piece of equipment called a vapor blaster, aqua blaster machine, which is like a specialist wet blasting process that's
Right.
non-damaging, and you can use to clean engines. And it meant that you could clean them within a matter of hours and have them
Ah,
pristine, like proper pristine looking, like they come off the factory line. So
nice.
then, of course, my little business brain sparked up and decided that actually this was an amazing opportunity for restoration projects, for engine parts, motorbike parts, all sorts of things, which it
Right.
actually is.
Yeah.
And we made a bit of a, a snap decision. So we spent a load of money on electrics and compressors and everything to support it. So we spent about 15 grand in all on this new business
Right.
venture, as just after
So
I
it's
joined
not.
the business.
Yeah. It's not
That was
pennies.
in 2017. This was beginning of
Mm.
2017. And so started up this new business, and in the space of 5 days, because we suddenly made a decision to go to the London Classic Car Show and to advertise this business as a new service, I'd created the whole company, the website, the branding, the colouring, the organised the t-shirts, the banners, the leaflets, the business cards, everything,
Karen, you
as including,
powerhouse. I
I
love
don't
it.
even know how I did it, because we also have
We
friends
don't
over
know
that
if you are
weekend.
included that whole bedroom and living room.
So yeah, so we organised all this stuff. We ended up in London for the classic car show for like 4 days. We were literally building the website in the pub the night before the thing was due to start. It was
It's the
just the
way to
most
do
incredible
anything.
journey. And then, like on the second day, whilst we were there, Storm Doris hit, and Storm Doris decided to blow down the tree and the telegraph pole, which were right next to our workshop unit, and it brought them both down through the roof of our work unit and destroyed the roof, which was about a third of the workshop area. So it was right over the ramp where Chris would have been working. And this was lunchtime on a Friday. He would have probably been under a car on that ramp when that tree and the telegraph pole came down.
Oh my God.
So what ended up being a fairly spontaneous business creating and, car show activity in London ended up potentially could have saved his life, but also the ensuing carnage, the landlord from hell, what a twat that landlord was. And then the insurance company, oh my God. So we have
want to
really
pay
been
out
through
for
it.
The act of God.
No, but they doubled the premium to over $6,000 a year while we were still like, where's our money from our claim? We can't afford
from
this.
The claim, like what?
So yeah, so we basically had to shut down our business for about 3 months because we couldn't get the roof fixed because the landlord's a twat, refer to previous comment. And he just let us sit there and rot. He literally just let us sit there and rot while we were going into work every day and just, I'm not a crier, but oh my God, the amount of times I was just close to tears staring at this workshop.
That's a desperate situation, isn't it? Everything you've worked for, and it's at the behest of everything else. So you're beholden to insurance companies or landlords, you could just do it yourself. It'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And we were just watching our business destroyed in front of our eyes because no one could do anything because no one wanted to. And we were just like, well, our landlord won't, we had a tarpaulin over the roof. Our tarpaulin, he'd taken off our car outside and put over the roof, which didn't even cover the hole. Gale force winds blowing through the unit because we were on the edge of Bedgebury Forest at the time.
So there's
horizontal
no protection
rain
from anywhere.
Everything's getting destroyed that wasn't already destroyed in the unit because all the rain's coming in and flooding the floor. It was soul destroying. So we had to turn away all this work at the busiest time of year before the race season.
Right.
And obviously your finances suffer. And basically we're still digging ourselves out of that hole because it has a knock-on effect. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's just,
I was going to say, does the tide feel like it's turning now? You've got, you're super niche, you've got all these exciting things happening within the business. Is that, I guess in a similar way for me, like just now, it's taken 10 years from when I was homeless, from when I lost the house to now where the tables really have started turning. And that process is long. It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster. It's been emotional, as they say.
It's been emotional. It's been a journey.
God, hasn't it just? So yeah, we're actually we are doing all right. Yeah, it has truly been a good time for us over lockdown. So my eyes are watering because it's really cold out here in the shade.
Is it cold?
Chilly, yeah. I'm in the car park. I'm probably keeping people awake. But anyway.
No, you've got it's lovely. You've got a lovely soft voice, Dar. You're keeping them asleep. It's fine. Lovely dulcet tones for sleepy people. You're getting loads of support from the queen bees and the king bees and the royal bees that are watching.
I can't see anything on here.
Such a woman on a mission. I love this. Oh my God, this story. It's so hard when your destiny seems to be in the hands of others. It's a great story of resilience and recovery right there, and that's it, isn't it? That it's you could at that point have just sacked it in and went and I say in inverted got a proper job.
Know how close we were? So fucking close, I tell you. I mean, even literally in February this year, I was resorting to looking at my CV again and going, do I need to do this? I mean, if I can go back and earn £500-600 a day, okay, it's going to be stressful. We're now living even further away from London. It will be 2.5 hour commute each way. But if I have to do that for 6 months, I will do it to get us out of this hole.
See you over.
And that was in February, and we all know what happened after that. So there was no option to do that, and I'm actually sort of glad that we didn't because it meant that we got to the end of our tether with the way we were running the business.
And sometimes you need your back pushing right up against the wall in order to start fighting your way out.
And it was the best thing because it made us actually go, right, let's do it.
Yeah, so you can't now. The plug's been pulled from everything. The bathwater's running out. Like, if you don't move now, then you won't be able to do either the things that you want to do, or you'll have to resort to something that is so painful that it won't feel good in the process of doing it anyway. And I think that happens for a lot when it's got to be that back against the wall moment. Like we even experienced this with my dad. My dad's got an acquired brain injury, and he will only make progress when we are despairing. He will only make progress. It's like that's when 99% of people give up. And then the 1% that decide to persist are the 1% that actually push through. And then everyone goes, "Oh, aren't you lucky?"
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, you're dead lucky,
Thanks for
you
that.
aren't, yeah.
We so nearly gave up with it all. We so nearly did, because then, would you believe, just as we were getting ourselves straight, we were thinking, right, well, we want to get out of here because this landlord is not a nice person.
Yeah.
And you just want to get away from people like that. And he was causing so much stress to so many people.
Right.
He was a bad man, and I don't know how he sleeps at night. So what we decided was, all right, we're gonna look to start maybe thinking about moving unit at some point, maybe in a year, because we need to settle ourselves. And then the bastard went and served us 28 days notice, because we were only on a 28-day contract. We had a full diary, having just recovered from said awful situation the year before. Full diary, up to our eyes in work, in a bit of chaos really in the unit, with the work unit and all the cars. And we had 28 days to find somewhere else, move, sort all our stuff out, and try and keep all these customers
and
happy.
then maintain all of the customer experience that you've built. This huge, we're talking about this reputation that you guys have got, trying to maintain all of that at the same time. My God.
Honestly, we used the C word a few times.
I bet you did.
It was close. We did actually. That nearly broke us, literally. Thank God we've got such a good relationship, and thank God we stuck through it, because it was so stressful. Like moving house. I've moved house 14, 15 times in my life. I have bought 2 houses at the same time as commuting 2 hours each way to London and living in a temporary accommodation and organising a wedding. I've done no, but it just goes to show, if you can cope with that, you think you can do everything, and then all you have to do is move your workshop.
Oh yeah, no problem.
God. Oh my God!
Just the other thing that I've got to do.
You have no idea how many truckloads of stuff you end up discovering you have when you have to move it.
Mate, but I think we've on our 4th skip just for lockdown, throwing stuff away, and we've realised how much stuff we've accumulated in the 9 years that me and Wallace have been together. It is just absolutely just to let you know that there's loads of support coming through for you. But Karen, my hat goes off to you. You're inspiring. Emma is saying, Karen, amazing. You're so talented and resilient and strong. Love your journey. Very inspiring. Sometimes the worst moments of your life direct you to your best. And there is a theme that we come across again and again and again, is that when your back is against the wall and you make those decisions, and you only lose when you give up. And
exactly. And we nearly did, but part of us wouldn't, because I'm stubborn. He's stubborn. And you just think, well, what else can we do? I mean, he's worked in the field of motorsport and mechanical engineering and making things go faster, and that's what he loves, and that's what he does. He was like, well, what am I going to do? I can't exactly get a desk job, because he's been doing this for donkey's years. So what was our option? It was like, well, we've got to make it work. And I didn't think it would. If I'm completely honest, I didn't know how the fuck we were going to do this.
Do your best work.
When we realised where we made our money, what he enjoyed doing, and what we had a good result, and actually we could deal with less customers, managing it in our own time, and not be tied down to this person, that appointment, this time, that train to pick them up from, and all this stuff. And we realised we were just shooting ourselves in the foot, trying to be all things to all people. And all I can say is, you might hear all these business coaches saying niche, 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 and if you haven't done it yet, you can do it.
Give it a bash.
Just do it.
Yeah,
because it will change your life. You will cut out 90% of your market, but you will get all of that 10%. And if you're good at what you do, and you have good values, and you get your message out there in the right way to the right people, it will happen. Just be a good person and do it.
I love it. I love that, Karen. It's such great advice. And there is a fear, often for people that are relatively new. I had this situation when I first started the movement, the IATQB movement. I was like, I want to help everybody. I want to help anybody that's struggling in business. Then I had to work out, who do I really want to help? Who's it going to light me up to help? And actually, particularly women or female identifying humans in business who are scared to speak about what it is that they do, they're the people that it lights me up to work with, because when they have the breakthroughs, when they have, you know, those light bulb moments, that's like fills my cup, because I know they're going to go on and be even more successful, and they're going to open all of those things up. And at the beginning, I was like, I want to help everybody. I want to help new starters. I want to help people who are rich. I want to help people. But I couldn't. You can't help everyone. So I have to have a plan to help everyone. So I have to, first of all, I've got to work with the people that can afford to pay me. And then I can help the people that can't afford to pay me.
Yeah, and that's where we had to go from with the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 owners, rather than the Mark 3s, which is the 05 onwards. The older cars are owned by the younger people generally, sorry to generalize, but it's true, and they don't want to spend money, and they're not your ideal customer, which those were the ones that were phoning us up and wasting our time answering their questions for free so they can do it at home with their mates, and they were the ones that drive you nuts. So we don't actually politely want to work with them. We want the Mark 3 owners who love their cars, but they've got a slightly more expensive one because it's a newer one, and they want someone to look after it properly, and they're prepared to pay the money to do that. And that's who your ideal customer is. I mean, it's so obvious, and yet we kept on dealing with the older cars, with the people with no money, that had no morals when it came to using our time and doing our heads in.
Even if they do have money, they want it to be cheap.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same business model that every coach teaches you: niche, target market, aim everything at that, stop trying to please everybody. All I can say is it applies to the car industry. It does. It's motor trade,
it's trade and industry wide.
It's weddings, it's everything. Just apply the principles. These coaches know what they're talking about.
Right, and they do, and there's no new news either. You know, the more coaches that I speak to, the more business consultants that I speak to, the more I realise that there is no new news. And for those of you out there that you're in whatever stage of journey you're in, and you're like, I want to help everyone, you can, but you need to make a plan. You've got to be able to, you've got to be able to get to somebody. So choose somebody first. And if you really nail that and you still feel compelled, then you can edge it out a little bit. But by trying to spray and pray and completely fall under the umbrella, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you. So allowing yourself, trust in the fact that there are people out there who are your soul client, who are, you know, they're the right people for you. They've got the pocket to be able to spend with you. They've got the commitment to themselves and whatever it is that they're doing. You know, you've got skin in the game, you play the game, all of that sort of stuff. Like you say, and that is industry, that's non-industry specific. That works right the way across business. It's such good advice. Let's have a little look. Joanne Smith, understanding your ideal client is so important, but it takes a while for the penny to drop. You have to be brave. Yeah, you have to say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone might get on a call with me and I might have to say to them, actually, you're not ready to work with me, or it's now, you know, you're not the kind of client that I work with because of X, Y, and Z. Or I was scared at one point of doing that, of saying no to somebody, because I was so panicked about getting the money in. But then when you relax,
that's the thing, and all you do is shoot yourself in the foot. And if you have a bad feeling about someone, or you just think they're going to be a bit hard work, and they're going to, like, we get people sending us spreadsheets to fill in. I mean, seriously, we've already spent an hour talking to you. Do we really need to fill in your spreadsheet? So you know, people like that aren't going to be fun to work with, or they're just going to be quite hard work. And all I can say is, if your gut says no, just say no.
Then make it a hell no.
Saves you so much effort in the long run. Just say we're not a good match. I think there's somebody else I can pass you on to that's a better fit.
Will be better for you. Again, give that person a call and say, I'm just sending this person to you, but you can have the same conversation. It's up to you. So what's coming up next for you, Karen? What are you excited about coming up next?
I'm excited and frustrated, actually, but probably that's being a bit too honest, because, you know, we're not supposed to.
Too honest.
We're supposed to know exactly what we're doing.
No, you're not.
To know. We're all making it up. Make it up to go along, isn't it? Oh dear. So what's next for us is to do a bit more market research and try and nail a bit more information about this luxury bespoke track days idea, because I think it's got legs, and I think it would be an awesome thing to do. It might not be ready for next year, but it's mainly because we need to spend the money to build the car, as well as facilities and all the politics of potentially having another business at a racetrack when the racetrack wants to get the income. So it's all just, I think there's going to be a few hoops to jump through. So that's what I'm kind of looking at in the background. we're working on getting a website updated and getting all the new banners and everything to fit the new Facebook thingy. So I'm sending out images about that as well. And trying to just refine everything so it all gives the same message, because at the moment we've had so many different messages over so many years with our business that we just need to make sure that everywhere says the same thing. And then I'm actually on a bit of a kind of journey of self-discovery, I suppose, because I always feel like I kind of like have my own business for me, like using the business analysis, business strategist type thing, but I don't know what I want to do, and I feel like I'm going around in circles, like banging my head against a brick wall, thinking, "But what am I good at? I'm good at so many things. Like jack of all trades and master of none is the way I
Yeah,
feel, even
get
though
you.
I'm probably not. It's just
Yeah,
that and I thought actually maybe that is my strength. Is that I love knowing about how all the bits of the puzzle fit together. I
right.
love knowing about everything, all the way from vision boarding and purpose and goals, all the way through to growing your audience and doing like retreats and passive income and that, and the whole process has fascinated me by learning on Lisa's courses, and
Yeah, Lisa
and and
Johnson.
I just love learning. I've realized I've got a massive passion for learning, understanding, and I just love
Yeah,
helping people. So I'm wondering if actually my own personal business niche should be like more of a high level business coach, helping people
yeah.
to fit all the pieces together and
Seeing how all the
only
cogs all
going
work together
into
and
more
they're working
detail
on
on
the
the
cogs.
bits I can help them with, and being quite happy as I am to send them to somebody else for, Facebook ads
To
or
get this
websites
done.
or whatever, but
Yeah.
working alongside them to help them go from sort of not knowing what they want to do, the same as I'm feeling right now, like take them through like a life coach, business coach kind of journey. But because I love knowing how everything fits together in a jigsaw, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what I should do, because I can have a high level understanding and help other people in that way with their businesses,
It's
because I love
almost like what
sharing
your
and helping
husband
and
does
growing and
for the
collaborating,
engine.
and I'm a real kind of nurturer. So
But it's like what your husband does for the engines. He knows what all the parts
yeah,
do. He knows how it all fits together.
takes
You're
them
the same
apart and
with
puts them back
business.
together again.
You you wouldn't have been a business analyst for the likes of HSBC or JP Morgan if you didn't know how all those bits fit together. How you can see how all of those bits work together. I just think that that's not a bad avenue to be explored. I'm so
Yeah.
excited, and when you do nail that down,
So yeah,
please will
I
you
just
come
love
back on the
learning.
show and
Love
share with
learning.
us?
So I'm just doing loads of it.
I don't know if there's a lag on the I don't know if there's a lag on
Oh,
the
I'm
sound,
losing you a little bit
but
again.
if you do when you do, head on in that direction and build that, please would you come back on the show and tell us about it?
Yeah. I hope it's going to be
Amazing.
soon, but I'm going through the process and I'm getting frustrated because I'm quite impatient. So I've only really
Everyone
been going through this since like April. I think I discovered Lisa Johnson earlier in the year, and then I did the race to recurring revenue and realised that we can actually do some semi-passive income from making some DIY videos and selling them to the younger MX5 owners, because we're not doing that work anymore. We could make money semi-passively that way, which is another thing we're thinking of. But I've only been in
tutorials.
this sort of headspace with my business thoughts for me since about April, May this year. So it's not long. It just feels like a long time because it's been very concentrated over lockdown and everything
Yeah,
that's been
and
going on.
when you're
So
quite focused, when you're learning like that, you kind of
yeah,
things do move a little bit quicker. That doesn't mean to say that it isn't, that you can't. You can like knock it up a gear and get moving on that. And I love. I can't wait to follow your journey. I can't wait to see what you get up to next. I can't wait to buy a book. I think, well, this is going to want a track day. I think I'm gonna have a laugh to have a little look at that. But thank you so much for getting up early. Thank you for persevering with the connection issues we had right at the beginning of the show.
I'm
Karen Dawkins, it's
so
been
sorry.
a sorry, it's fine. Thank you so much for getting up early and speaking to us this morning. From wherever it is you are, and where are you in the world?
Travel Lodge in Tunbridge Wells, but it's actually a really nice building from the front. It's just there's no
It
signal around the front.
it's like when you go in, there's like just a force field of no signal around it.
Yeah, it's just
But thanks once again, Karen Dawkins, for joining us. Please do put your business
oh,
details into the comments on the Queen Bee Dani version of this StreamYard. It's been lovely speaking to you, Karen Dawkins. Everybody, what a fabulous and inspirational story that she's had to tell. What an incredible business that she's got. Super excited to see where her journey takes her next. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a lovely bank holiday. If you've got nice things planned, do tell us about them. Do share in the hive what you're getting up to today. Carry on the conversation in the IATQB hive. It stands for I am the Queen Bee. If you are wanting to put your name down ready for Be Heard, so you want to be a speaker, please do put waitlist in the comments and we will hook you up with the waitlist. We will be beginning our free challenge the week of the 28th of September. Really excited about that. Give you a little taste of what's to come with the course and with the mastermind as well. But all of that is coming up at the end of this month. I'm going to be telling you about it every single day. I'm super excited to see who is going to be jumping on, who's going to be joining us, who is going to be speaking about their business, reaching more people, earning more money, having a whale of a time. Right, I have got just under 24 hours to submit the book. Wish me luck, you guys. I will see you in the morning with who's going to be joining us this in the morning. Let's have a little look. Oh, we're going to be talking all things PR with the glorious Caroline Johnson is joining us 8 o'clock tomorrow for the show at Rise Up Show. You guys are fabulous and wonderful, and I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Join us every single morning, Monday to Friday, here on the Queen Bee Dani page, either on YouTube or Facebook. It is 8 o'clock. All of the fabulous people joining us, Caroline Joyce and Talking PR tomorrow. See you later.